Hey, day traders, what a big day today. Crazy stuff going on today. But first, wanted to talk about this Maxar. So the news broke today that Maxar has been selected by NASA to build, perform spaceflight demonstration of Lunar Gateway's power. Whatever it is, it made the stock explode. It got halted later on. But I want to show you something. There was this scan that I built, this trade idea scan, tipped me off to this well before that news, and I think it was because obviously with some insider trading and things going on, there was some information that this might happen, and it started to develop early. And I'll show you why. At 9:57, I got tipped to this was my VWAP 200 moving average wedge scan, which I absolutely love now. It has been just doing great for me. So at 9, what was it, 9, I said it was 9:57, so right around here it tipped me off. Now what that scan looks for, the way I designed it, is it looks for stocks that are moving above VWAP, hopefully moving with it on the moving upwards and approaching a 200 moving average. Ideally I want this to be flat. Now when this happened, when I got alerted, I was doing another trade, so I kind of just ignored it. And it kind of popped above the 200 moving average and settled back down again. So I kind of ignored it, but I should have just been putting an alert, which I've been doing more and more, on the top of this high range right here. Because a lot of times with these alerts, it might not make the move right away, but it does it later on. Maybe a second break of VWAP, which is this purple line, green is 200 moving average. So it moved up. I ignored it, and then the news broke, and look what happened. It went all the way from about $7 all the way to $8, almost to $9, almost $2, almost a $2 jump. And if I had been in this trade, like I probably should have been, I mean, there's no way of knowing this, but it would have been a great trade. It would have been a trade that makes your month, really. So yeah, I just didn't take it. I was doing something else, but it showed up well before that news popped and well before the stock started exploding. Way back here in the early hours, came up on this scan, which has been a great scan for me. So, but those aren't the trades I want to show you. I had a trade early in the day that popped up on this. It didn't actually pop up on this VWAP 200 moving average wedge. The reason I like that, the reason I designed that scan, was because this happens a lot when a stock's moving up nice and tight in this. I call it the wedge because it creates a wedge with the VWAP moving up, approaching the 200 moving average. So it creates that wedge, and you get sometimes a little pressurized pop. The stock will just pop over that 200 moving average, and you can get a nice quick scalp. Usually I should really call it a scalp scan, because most of the time I'm looking for scalps, quick scalps, when they build this. But if it's moving tight enough and it has a nice smooth movement, which this one kind of did, you can do this. You could enter this for the long haul. See, that's a little alert for that scan. But it's a little late in the day to really take anything. So yeah, so that's why this would have been a great. This was a great alert early on. I just didn't end up taking it. But in one of my other scans, my gapper scan, was a stock. It might not be in there anymore. It was Sealed Air, SEE, and that popped up. I want to say early in the day. It was basically there all day, and I guess it's not in there anymore. I guess it doesn't have enough volume or what. But it's just not. It's not in that. It's not in the scan. But it was there. It was there early in the day in this gappers list because it had gapped. So I took it. All right. So here it is. So as you can see, this kind of fits that pattern I'm talking about, moving up along this volume weighted average price line, approaching a 200 moving average. It's kind of flat, which I like. So, but this actually did not show up in my VWAP scan, but the pattern was there. It showed up in my gapper scan. So as soon as I saw the pattern, I said, hey, I'm used to that pattern. I like it. This is a little choppy. Don't really like that too much. But it was still holding VWAP and approaching a nice flat, almost flat 200 moving average. So I got in right here at, what did I get in at? 41.44. And then you can see it moved up really quickly to the 200 moving average. Again, this is not a daily 200. This is a 200 moving average on a 5-minute chart. And then it had another quick burst up again. And my target was about 41. I want to say it was like 41.79-ish. I got out right away at the top of this, almost the top of this base of the candle, the body of the candle, I should say, at about 41.75. So I got in at 44, got out at 75. So a 31-cent gain, and that happened in 8 minutes, almost exactly 8 minutes and something seconds. Quick 31-cent jump. I took a fewer shares because I just didn't like the way that this was a little wicky, lots of wicks here. But again, I was looking to scalp it, and I did exactly that. 31 cents, great move. And then you can see it settled back down, and then for the rest of the day it was, you know, doing nothing. But that one little quick burst made my morning. Now I kind of screwed up, so that's the first trade. I kind of screwed up a later trade, and I will show that to you. The next trade I took was, oh yeah, it was CAR. Now I jumped the gun on this one. You can see here why. So this had been, let's see, I think this wasn't a gapping play. It just showed up in my, I want to say, CAR showed up in a new high scan. It was just a basic new high scan, one of the first scans that I got from a Trade Ideas room. Very basic, and it basically looks for stocks that are making new highs on the day, above a certain count. And this one made that, but then I looked at it later on and it kind of settled back down near VWAP. And I saw this and I said, okay, it's below VWAP here, right? It busted below, or I shouldn't say busted, moved below VWAP, came back up, and went below. And I said, all right, maybe it's going to fail VWAP here and it's going to continue down. Really, this isn't nice and clean, as clean as you'd like. There was no confirmation that it was staying below, so I got in here at about 56. And then it came right back up and stopped me out. Then my stop, I said at 56.12, I'm going to get out. I got in out at about 56.11. So just a quick bummer of a trade. It was stupid. I shouldn't have taken it because I should have waited for it to break this little pivot point down here and move down. That's when you take it, because look what happened. I got in at 56, got out at 56.12, eventually moved down to 55.74. So it did go down about 25 cents from where I got in, and then it bounced again. So it wasn't a great trade. I should have waited for it to you know, move down further. The other reason I got in on this 15-minute chart, you can see that it was moving down below the 15-minute chart, and a lot of times once it starts moving down, it kind of follows it down the rest of the day, and it didn't. So that was a bummer. But then another trade showed up in my new low scan of the day, and that was MERC, and this ended up being a beauty. Yeah, so here MERC gapped down a little bit too. It might have showed up in my gappers, but it wasn't a big enough gaps. It was only about 20 cents. So basically down through VWAP today, recovered VWAP, right? And then it came down through VWAP again. So basically that second break of VWAP later in the day tipped me off, and it was going, my new lows tipped me off right about here, my new low scan. So I said, all right, I see this little yellow doji here. Buyers started bringing it up, couldn't. Sellers brought it back down. So it settled right about here, and I said, I'm going to get in here. And right away, you can see where I got in is right when it started to drop. At 14, what did I get in at? 1482 and a half, basically. And I said, okay, I'm going to get out if it gets back up to 1494. And as you can see on this 15-minute chart, too, it was failing to get above the 10 EMA on the 15. And when I see that, kept hitting its head there, that also told me, hey, this might be a good candidate for a short. So I got in at 1482 and a half, and it got close to my first target. So I took a little bit out here at 1463, so almost 20 cents, and then it kept going down through my first target, and I said, all right, I kept moving my stop up, and I got out the rest of my shares at 1452. So got out some at 63, and then got out the rest at 52 from 82. So 30, all in, as my final bit was out at 30 cents, the other was about 20 cents. And that was it for the day. So those two trades, MERC and the earlier trade with what was it? With Sealed Air, just great trades. This was more of a scalp, which I mostly play scalps early in the day because there's not enough to show a setup here. If this has been tighter, I might have said, okay, this is going to be an all-day trade maybe. But I was just looking for that pop, which I got, and then. Once the day kind of moves on, I like to short more often than not, at the end of the day, because you tend to get stocks, even if they're up on the day, if they're having a positive day, and they kind of start to fade as people start taking profits, and that's where you can kind of get some nice shorts, and that's what I was looking for in MERC. So this ended up being a perfect little short here. And now you can see it's kind of consolidating here. I don't know if it's going to bounce now towards the end of the day or continue down, but I didn't, I got what I needed out of it, so it was a good trade. But yeah, the big news is with Maxar. That stock, I really, really, really wish when it popped up in my scan here at 9:57, I really wish that I'd taken it. I could have taken it at 697 is when it alerted me to it, and it went all the way to about 890 something. So I could have gotten a $2 move out of that, but no worries. The other two trades were good trades. This just would have been a stellar trade. Who knows? I probably wouldn't have held on for it that long anyway, but it did kind of just move sideways for a while. So if it hadn't hit my stop, I probably would have been in it. So that's it for today. Friday tomorrow, so maybe take it easy after a good Thursday. We'll see. But good luck trading, and see you next time.